This year we're going to take a look at the 3 key areas you got to focus on to win football games. That's what it's all about. As a coach, got to focus on those areas. Don't get too caught up in all the other statistical things that may or may not really give you the advantage you need. And we're going to jump right in. Obviously, the number one thing you got to look at is turnover margin. And if you look at just the NFL season, for the teams that go +1 in turnovers, it's a 98% chance of a winning season. So think about that 98% chance. Nearly all teams that have a +1 turnover margin are going to make the playoffs. Be close right there. So obviously in the NFL, it's key. It's even bigger in college football. In college football, teams that are +1 turnover margin win 83% of their games. So that is a huge statistic. Anytime that you're evenly matched against a team, turnovers can be the key, and more than likely are the key. And of course, you hear everybody talk about turnovers now. A lot easier said than done. You got to find ways to make turnovers. And if you just look at how turnovers are made, you are 3 to 4 times more likely to get a turnover on a pass play. And the statistics on that are that less than 1% of the time is a run with a fumble going to be turned into a turnover. Interceptions happen on 2 to 3% of pass plays. And of course, as a defense, if you have great ends and guys that can get after the passer and force teams to pass the ball a lot more, that's where you're going to create turnovers. And again, it comes back down to, hey, who has the defensive line that can get after the quarterback and also stop the run, make teams throw it a little bit more, and that's how you're going to create turnovers. Obviously, you got to do the little things as far as drills and finishing, as far as interceptions and all that. The other thing to think about is zone versus man. The statistic is about 70 to 75% of the picks in the NFL are off of zone coverage. A lot less in man. Now, of course, you're probably going to give up a little bit easier completions at times in zone. But if you're trying to create turnovers, a lot of times those zone eyes, guys that can catch those deflections or jump routes, rolling coverage, kind of give them different looks. That's how you're going to create those interceptions. And, of course, the pressure from the defensive line is going to be huge as well. Speeding the quarterback up, making him guess where the ball is going to go because you know you're going to get hit. And at some point, you might guess right, roll to a certain way, and run to an interception and create that big turnover for your team. So I talked about defense trying to create it. Now, of course, offense, you got to keep from turning the ball over. And the easiest way to do that, obviously, you got to be great with fundamentals, with ball security, but then you got to be able to run the ball. You can't be forcing those long yardage situations where they can pin their ears back on the defensive line and get after you. And you got to have just great ball placement. You can't miss high towards the middle, and you can't miss to the backside anytime you're going to an out route. And again, also, you got to have great protection when you are throwing the football, so you're not getting the strip sacks, you're not getting the hurries back there where you're having to get out of the pocket and then make those split-second decisions before you get hit, and you're not able to see the defense and read it as well as you'd hope to. So very obvious. Number one way to win football games, create more turnovers. And to me, that comes down to controlling the line of scrimmage, being able to run the football on offense, being able to get after the passer and stop the run on defense, and force them to pass the football. Because you're 2 to 3 times more likely to get turnovers when the ball's in the air as opposed to whenever they're able to run the football. Second most important statistical category you've got to win football games, and it's really pushing for first for me is explosive plays. Now, if you win explosive plays, which there are lots of different factors and different criteria for it. It could be 10-plus yard run, 20-plus yard pass, or it could be 12-yard run, 15-yard pass, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. If you win the turnover margin and you win explosive plays, you win 100% of your game. Very hard to find a game where that's not the case. If you win explosive plays, you win turnovers, you're going to win that game, and you're probably going to win it by a couple scores, if not just a blowout. So when you look at just the stats, explosive plays typically count for 40 to 60% of total yards. And, of course, if you're creating a lot of explosive plays and your explosive plays are about 60%, you're getting after it right there. And, of course, a single explosive play raises expected points per drive by 2 points. That's unbelievable right there. So just an explosive play increases your points per drive by 2 points. So that's huge right there. Any offensive coach wants to call as few plays as possible and create explosive plays to get into the end zone. So that's obviously huge if you get them out there. Now, how are you creating explosive plays? Lots of different ways to do it. Now, typically an explosive play is going to happen when you have a broken tackle. So getting your guys, the guys that can make people miss and guys that can outrun people in space, help them break tackles. And, of course, that comes down, again, you got to block for your guys, whether it's in the box with a running back or on the edge whenever you're slipping the ball out there. If you're being unselfish, able to block, and then obviously with dynamic players out there, which, again, that's easier said than done, but get it to your guys. Let those guys get in space, make people miss, and create those explosive plays. So obviously missed tackles, and the next thing that you're looking for is just kind of mismatches and creating angles, whether you can get outside, whether you have an angle to hit it right down the gut, whatever it is, just finding a way to get up on the safeties and create those explosive plays, whether it's a run game, passing game, doesn't matter. Getting the ball out in space creates explosive plays. Now as a defense, how do you prevent them? All right, play top-down defense, obviously. You got maybe one high, two high, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're playing over the top of everything. Don't give up explosive plays. And the number one thing, you've got to tackle well. All right, so every time that we talk about it, all this stuff is much easier said than done. But if you tackle well, you're going to give up hardly any explosive plays. Get the guy on the ground. Keep your leverage. Don't get out leveraged. Don't let those guys get the sideline. and get them on the ground. If you're doing that, making them snap the ball over and over again, a lot of times, again, it's high school football, college football, whatever it is, it's hard to score whenever you have to run 12, 15 play drives. Make those guys drive the field. Don't give up explosive plays. You got a really good chance to win. Another thing you got to think of as an offensive coach, don't be afraid to take shots. And you got to throw them in practice. Throw your shots in practice. Get good at throwing the ball deep, letting your guys go up and make plays. So it's one of those things you've got to take shots. Don't be afraid of it. Again, because explosive plays win games and help you score a lot more points. Don't be afraid to take shots. Obviously, you got to be able to protect it, but take your shots at timely manners and practice it all week. Make sure you got 3 or 4 different shot plays. Let's work them. Work them all week and get good at throwing and catching them, and then call them. Don't be afraid to step back and throw the ball 50-plus yards down the field. Third most important thing to focus on is third and fourth down consistency and converting, keeping your offense on the field. Now, of course, extending drives equals more plays, more chances to create explosive plays, and, of course, gets you down closer to the red zone goal line. Now, of course, a lot of people emphasize red zone goal line. That's great, too, but if you don't convert on third and fourth down, you're going to have a lot less chance in the red zone goal line, even though that has to be a huge emphasis as well. But third and fourth down conversion is the number 3 thing that's going to lead to winning football games. Every successful conversion, it says, is worth 1.5 to 2.5 points per drive, depending on where the field position is where you convert it. So think about it. Every single time you continue to convert, your chances to score keep going up, and you get more points per drive. And really what you're looking for is close to 50%. 45% is really good as far as conversions at any level. So 45% to 50% on third downs is huge. And, of course, you got to have your own chart. You got to go by your own feel for your team and what your philosophy is of when you go for it on fourth down. I prefer to go for it basically every single time when we're close to midfield, unless it's just some extreme long yard situation or we're backed up quite a bit, and again, it's still got to be a long yard situation, but typically we're going to try to go for it on fourth down as much as possible. Of course, what are the best ways to convert on third and fourth down? I know this is going to sound kind of trite, but win first and second down. Get to third and short, third and medium, get to where you can throw it, you can run it, you got a lot more options. Don't get in those third and 9, third and 10, where you know you're dropping back, maybe sprinting out, where they know that you got to throw the football down the field to convert most of the time. So don't get in those situations where it's long yard situations. Obviously, winning first, second down, be able to run the football a little bit, take your easy completions, get the ball in space, and get up closer to the sticks is huge, making those critical situations a little bit easier for your offense to convert on. And, of course, the exact inverse is the same thing for the defense. You got to stop the run, make them throw the ball, get them behind the sticks, create those long yard situations. Now you can pin your ears back as a D-line. You can roll coverages, and you got a lot better shot at stopping them as opposed to whenever it's third and 1, 4th and a half yard, whatever it is, where they got their entire playbook in there trying to convert that. Try to make them one-dimensional, and that's how you have a lot of success on third down defensively for sure. So that's the top 3 things right there as far as winning football games that you got to focus on. Create turnovers, create explosive plays, and convert in key situations, third and fourth down, and you'll have a lot of success. If you can just focus on those things in the majority of your practice, I think you're going to win a lot of football games. But if you need some more material, we got a game planning book. We have a game planning book that would be perfect for any offense. Also a book on bunch, as well as how we do our hurry-up, no-huddle offense. So take a look at those at coachescaviar.com or on Amazon. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys again in the next video.